and I'm here to bring you my Tuesday card, and I know I haven't been here in weeks, and I'm sorry about that. Hopefully I'll just get those videos on randomly so that you can see what I had been doing. But anyway, so right now I'm going to show you a fun fold that I just did on my Facebook Lives, and I'm going to use a little bit different patterned paper, same set of everything that I'm doing. So anyway, I want to do that and show you that and so tell you that I'm sorry I haven't been here. I hope you will continue watching me. I hope you will share my videos so that I can get more followers. That's my goal, is to keep getting followers and people watching. So I do want to tell you that Stampin' Up! Has a great join offer. So if you do not sell Stampin' Up! And you're watching my video, and you want to buy something and say it's a bundle, most bundles are like $55, join Stampin' Up! For $35 and get $90 worth of stuff free. And the way I say that, you get to pick out $125 worth of stuff, but you get to only pay $35. So that means if you're paying out $35, you're getting $90 worth of stuff for free, even though you're picking out $125 worth. And you're going to get a free paper pumpkin kit to see what that's about. You're going to not have to pay shipping on your order, and that's a big thing. Let me see. And it's fun to join, make your wish list, and then just buy off your wish list and use a discount. 20% off is what you're going to get, unless you sell a lot. Then, you know, and meet these minimums, you're going to get 25% when you move up. So you can work at that. You can do that, and it's great. And I hope that somebody will want to join. I want to grow my team. Please get a hold of me. My email and everything is in the description down below. My store is down below also. You can go there and hit the join button and be on your way. But you know, if you need questions answered in that, just talk to me. But anyway, I'm here to show you a card, and that's what I'm going to do. But before I do that, I am going to refresh my screen on my monitor so I can make sure that my card's going to be in focus with you when I do that. So let me see if it's going to let me go live. Looks like I'm going to be. Yeah, there I am. Okay, so I'm going to turn my camera around, and then I'm going to, there we go. Turn you around. See my little kitty cat? She's laying over here taking a nap. So if she wakes up, I'm sorry, but she's sleepy this morning. So I'm pulling the camera down to where you can see these cards. And let me show you. You're going to see they're made different because I was making this to go at the top, but I put it on backwards when I put it on. I didn't check that. That's my crazy fault, but I do stuff like that every once in a while. But the insides are the same, which that is your pop-up right here. And I made a sympathy card with deepest sympathy, hoping the loss you feel right now will be eased by wonderful memories. And then this one is the same thing, says the same thing, and it has the little dove in it. So, but they're made alike. These are just flipped, and that's okay if that happens. You know, we make mistakes all the time. So I'm going to set these aside because I don't have my PDF up that I usually have over on my Stamp Crazy VIP group, which you can join and get my PDFs, but I'm hoping to have it up by tonight sometime. So I'm going to lay these up here, and I'm going to tell you my card measurements as I go in case you want to go ahead and make one. So we're going to start out with our card base, which is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4, and folded. Same as any other card that you do. There's nothing fancy about that part of your card. So we have that. Then what we have for the inside, we have a piece that's 5 1/4 by 4 of the DSP, which is going to go right there. We have a white that's 5 1/4 by 4 that's going to go here. I am going to go ahead and glue mine in. just to get them out of my way. You'll see I'm not using my glue gun because I have an in-person class today, and my glue gun is upstairs. So we can't use the glue gun if we don't have it down here, and I didn't want to carry it back and forth. I do enough of that stuff. So I'm going to just lay that in there. Okay. And then I'm going to take this and do the same thing with it. Whoops. There we go. So anyway, we have those in our card. So we don't have to, and I'll stamp that later. I trust myself, which is kind of scary, but I do. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to cut these pieces to get your fun fold here, okay? So this is cut 4 3/4 this way by 8 this way. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my scoring tool. I'm going to bring this up 2 inches and make a mark here, and then we're going to cut our angle, okay? So let's bring in the paper trimmer. And to put this at, I want it, it's 8 inches long, right? But I want my scoring line here, which is 4 3/4. So I'm going to bring it back at the 2 3/4 inch line, and I'm going to make a score line right here. So let me get the cutting blade out of the way, bring this up, and just make a little score line. And that's right there in my card, and it's not going to matter. And while I'm doing this, I'm going to take this piece, which is 4 5/8 this way by 7 1/2. I'm going to line this one up at 1 7/8 and make a score line, okay? So, whoops. Here's 1, and then 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, 7/8 isn't on there. That's why I got that other card wrong. So if this is 4 3/4, I want to go down. I don't want to go 2 inches. I want to go 2 inches, which is 2 3/4. And then I'm going to move it down 1/8 of an inch. And there we go. So I scored that, and that should be a 1 7/8 inch mark. Let's turn it over and do it this way. 1 7/8. I want to make sure I get that right. Whoops. 1 7/8. I want to make sure that's right. I don't care which side that is on. And I did have it a little bit off. So down here's my 1 7/8. Okay. So I know which one it is. Now I'm going to take, I should just leave this here. I'm going to take my 1 7/8 inch mark. And I'm going to take the corner of the top left corner, and I'm going to line these up in this groove of the paper trimmer. This paper trimmer is great for doing this. And then I'm going to lay that down, and I'm going to cut a slit. Okay. So I'm going to take this one, and it's at the 2 inch mark. So I'm going to line the 2 inch mark there, and I'm going to put this corner up in the paper trimmer. I'm going to put that down, and I'm going to cut that. So there we go. Now let's see, before I go any further, how this is going to look on here when we get it done. It's going to look beautiful. I think it's going to be fine. So now what I want to do with this one is I want to score it at 2 inch intervals. So I'm going to take this, and I'm going to turn it over because that's going to be the easiest part to do. And I'm going to score it at 2 inches. Get that out of my way so I can do this right. I'm going to score it 2 inches, 4 inches, and 6 inches. You didn't see that, I didn't have that down, but what I did is I moved this at the 2, 4, and 6 inch line. I did 2 inches, 4 inches, and 6 inches. And that's my scoring lines on there. Let's do our scoring lines on here. Now we're going to measure, we're not doing scoring lines, we're doing cutting lines, okay? So I'm going to cut this at 1 7/8. Okay. I'm going to put that at 1 7/8. 1 7/8 again. And then 1 7/8 again. So we have that cut. These are cut. That one's scored. I'm going to bring in this piece of paper, and it's 3 3/4 inches wide. This is only like 2 3/8, but if you're, I'm using a scrap, but you could use 1 2 5/8, and I'll show you why I'm saying that when we get to this, but I'm going to go ahead and cut it at 1 3/16. So I'm going to cut 1. 1 3/16. There's one, and this one is just a tad bit over, and I'm going to cut it at 1 3/16. And you have, where'd it go? It's in my, it's right there. And you have this little sliver left. So we'll show you what that's about when we do the front, and I'll show you why you can cut this, use the scrap at 2 3/8, or you can use, cut it at 2 5/8 if you have to cut a new piece of paper. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to fold this, and what you're going to do is you're going to fold a mountain fold in the middle. So you get your mountain fold. And then you're going to fold the 2 ends as a valley fold. So we folded that one. We're going to fold this one. And there we have, that's a valley, a mountain, a valley. And if you don't know what that means, we're in the valley, so you're going down. When you're on the mountain, you're coming up over the mountain and then down in the valley again. So let's take our pieces and line these up where they go on our card. Whoa, don't drop them. And this is how they're going to go, and they will go back and they'll look just like a picture because I cut them in order. So when they go on. Okay, so let's go ahead and glue these down. Got a little globby stuff on the end of that. Ew. I don't like glue globs. Glue globs. Can you say that real fast? Like 3 times? So I'm going to glue this down. So let's take this, stick it over here. Make sure we leave a border all the way around. As soon as I can get my fingers in there. There we go. There we go with that one. Just rub it a little bit to make sure the glue holds it and sticks to the cardstock. You can use any adhesive on here. You could use your tear and tape, your tape runners, whatever you have that you like the best. I'm a green glue type of girl, so I use it for most everything. So there's the next one. And the next one. So there we go. That is our inside of our card. We can go ahead and put that down in here. Before I do, let me stamp my saying that goes up here. That way the fun fold will not be in my way. So I'm just going to ink that with Misty Moonlight, because Misty Moonlight, the color on the card is Cloud Cover, the card base. And Misty Moonlight is going to be this one that's going to go on the front. And that's what color of inks that I have used. So I stamped that one. I'm going to go ahead on my scrap piece of paper and stamp with Deepest Sympathy. So we're just going to stamp that in here. And we have those stamped. Voila. Voila, they're stamped. And that's all the stamping that we're doing today. So now for this piece, what you're going to do is you got this middle line here, and you're going to line that up with your fold on your card, and then this will fit to be glued in, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this over. I'm going to take my glue. Again, you can use tear and tape or your Stamp and Seal Tombow glue. So I'm just going to line that up again, make sure it's lined up. I'm going to press that one down, rub it a little bit. Then I'm going to come over here. I'm going to fold this one in. So this is really easy to put together as far as matching where you need to match and stuff like that. You can get it in there. So I'm just going to hold that down and glue that one down. So when I pick it up to fold it, this is what it does. Can you see that? And I am going to go ahead and I already die cut some doves. And on my dove, I need to put a little eye on him. I just think he needs an eyeball. So I just take a little thin marker and and that's a Sharpie that I bought, just real thin. And I'm going to glue him right here. So when I glue him, I'm only going to put glue on the big wing and down at the half part of his body, because I want him sticking up over that edge. But I don't want glue up over that edge. So I'm just going to take him and glue him in. Make sure he's not in the way of the fold, so that when we fold him, there he is. Okay, now let's decorate the front of our card. So we have this is going to be on the front. And then we have this, which is the back side of the paper I used. It is cut 3 3/4 by 2 1/4. And I'm going to glue that down with 3 equal sides around it. And all of this is the Peaceful Garden set. It's got the paper that I'm using, the stamp with Deepest Sympathy. The other one came from, it's called The Right Words. So I'm using the papers and the ribbon. Now I want to make sure I got these all going in the right direction. Okay, there's his little head. So there they go. They go like that. Now, mine are cut 2 3/8. I'm going to line that up with this, but I'm going to put it up here with equal borders again, like it's at the bottom. And eyeball that is lined up here. Okay? And I've got this extra here, this where the Misty Moonlight shows, but I'm going to be adding this ribbon, which will cover that up. So, but if you cut it a little longer, it'll come down and about meet that. And it is a little bit easier to line up. But like I said, this was a piece that was cut off of the edge when I cut 7.5 inches. So I thought, why not just use it? I like to use up my scraps if I can. So we're going to line him up here. And then I'm going to take the last one and I'm going to line him up with this edge up here. So let's just take this and we're going to come up here a little further. And we're going to, oops, whoopsie, whoopsie. There we go with him. And then this one, I'm just going to put glue on and I'm going to put him in the center. And that way they're lined up a little bit more evenly than what they would if I would have started at one end and went to the other. So I'm just going to put him in there and line him up. And there we go. We have, that is the front of our card. So I'm going to take the ribbon, but before I do, I'm going to turn that over, and I know I need my adhesive right in here. I am going to take adhesive, using my little Tombow adhesive, because my other adhesive is upstairs, because I'll be teaching a class today. And I didn't want to carry everything back down here until I'm done with it. So I just get out what I have down here. Okay, I'm going to take this and I'm going to leave a little bit of an area that's going to go around the back and stick where I put that adhesive. And I'm going to bring this one around. I quit sticking it to my finger. And I'm going to put that on there. Whoops, look at that. Thought I did a good job. Hold on to it. There we go. So there we go. We have that. And I'm just going to trim this off. While I've got it in my hand, I'm going to trim about 6 inches to do my little knot. And I'll do that after I put this on the card. So let's go ahead and glue. And I'm putting glue over my ribbon too, because I want it to hold down. So let's take this, bring it to our card, center it as best as we can, and put that down. So see, that's, just make sure everything's down good, like that. I'm going to put this through here, and I'm just going to tie me a knot. I'm going to go right over left and left over right. If you're a Girl Scout, you've heard that before. Or if you were a Girl Scout. I was a Girl Scout 100 years ago. Seems like. Okay, now I'm just going to tie that into a knot. I'm going to trim my ends just a little bit. Whoops. And there we go. We have that. So let's take our sentiment, and I'm just going to cut up this edge. I'm going to cut this one down a little bit. Might have room for one more. And I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of this. I usually have my dimensionals colored on the back because I can see them better when I put them down, but those are upstairs also. And I just got out another pack. And this is what I have. Just this. So let's go ahead and take this off. And we're going to put this right here. But what I use today, I'm going to put some embellishments on it. But before I do that, I use, it's called The Right Words, and that's what this came out of. Peace on Earth is what the collection of all this stuff is. I use the With Deepest Sympathy. I use the Peace on Earth dies, which I use this dove right here. The ribbon comes in the suite also, and it is called Silver Edged Ribbon. It's 1/2 inch wide. So I use that, and then these are the embellishments that come with it. So let's go ahead and put some embellishments on here. And let's use, we'll use some white. Again, I like the white. So I'm just going to lay these down. And I love my pick tool to do this with. Then I can just, the putty picks it up and I don't have to worry about it. So there we go. We have our card is done. And that is all there is to this fun fold. It's a great fun fold. So I just wanted you to see that. And then here are the other ones that I made. We have this one, and this one, and this one. So there you go. That is all those that are made. And they all open up the same way. Aren't those pretty? I love this paper for this. I just love it. And I love the fold. And see how it'll sit up. So it sits up to where it'll be kind of open, and then you see the front. I think that's very pretty. But you can see the pop-up right there. That's the pop-up. That's the pop-up part. So please, if you're watching my video, and even if you're watching on replay, hit the subscribe button for me. I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. That way you'll know when I'm here. And also, share it, because I know if you're watching the video, surely you've got some other friends that love to stamp and would like to see this card also. I would so much appreciate if you could do that for me. It means a lot. It helps my channel. It helps me. And I just appreciate that. So anyway, I am going to go right now and get ready for my class this afternoon. And I will talk to all of you later. Be creative, be safe, and stay healthy. All right? And we will talk to you all later. Goodbye.